Preventative maintenance is a big thing here. You don't want to have anything go bad and damage your cabin. Up here, the biggest issue with cabins is neglect. So we're going to address that today. All right, so here's the roof. This is the area that was bad. The insulation's dry. I'm just hoping it didn't drip down further. We're gonna have to pull some boards away in the wintertime and check underneath. All right, as you can see, we've had some snow here. We're gonna be going over different types of roof that we have here on the property, as well as other types of roofs that are around. So this is the Trapper cabin. This has an asphalt shingle roof, and it is on top of 1x12s to 1x16s that Jim milled and put on top. It's working and will need to be replaced here in the near future. This roof will also be getting metal as well. I'm here on the second floor of the barn. As you can see right here, the insulation on the walls goes right up to the header. And then there's no insulation, and you can see the metal roofing. What's going to happen is I'm going to run beams from the top header board straight across to the other side. And at that point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay the insulation in between those beams and create a void above that between the insulation and the roof. That's going to create a cold roof system. Cold roof systems help you prevent issues of ice damming. Why am I worried about ice damming in my barn? Well, eventually this is going to be a heated barn. I will be building an oil drip stove for this place, as well as here on the second floor, I'm going to be putting in a small wood stove to help heat the upper story with scrap wood so I can get the greenhouse going earlier in the year and grow later in the year. So when I do that, the insulation is going to come straight across here and leave all that above it open to the cool air to help keep it a cold roof. Unfortunately, this section right here is asphalt roofing, and the main part of the barn up top is metal roofing. This section here needs to be rebuilt, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make it go higher up to match the other lean-to on the other side of the barn. And I still have to put the battens on this side as well. This is the inside of my shop. Oh, and I got a bulb hanging down. I'm going to have to fix that. Must have been from the earthquake the other day. This section of the roof has been finished. It has the roof, insulation, as well as plywood finishing. Now this is my main workshop area. This is where I have all my tools, I sharpen my chainsaws, and I do a lot of other things over here. This area is going to be heated soon, so I had to kind of get this done first. It is finished off like the other room will be finished. It has the roof, a vapor barrier, insulation, and then visqueen on the inside. This area is well heated, and you'll see more of this area here in a couple upcoming videos soon.
It's all or nothing. Make no mistake. I'm a game changer. I'm a risk taker. I don't hide from the battle. The battle hides from me. I'm a game changer. Won't see me run from danger. I don't hide from the battle. The battle hides from me. I'm a game changer.
Here you can see me using a big propane powered torch to actually make sure that the edges of this area is sealed up tight.
I'm gonna do it. You won't forget. Born bred over.
Some of you may remember when we did the backsplash behind my baking station in the kitchen with the copper metal. Well, this metal came from the same place, and that is Magic Metals down in Palmer, Alaska. You want to talk about some amazing people?
I gotta kind of keep it up in the air a little bit. Can you hold it like that for a second?
Yes.
When I called Magic Metals to place our order, they asked for all dimensions, which I gave them, the pitch of the roof, as well as how many bits and pieces of different things I'm going to need. When it came time for the ridge cap, that one was a little bit tricky. I actually brought them down a template of what was there. Yeah, I knew it was going to be an issue, but let me tell you, the cap fits spot on to the dimensions I gave them. I'm highly impressed by Magic Metals and cannot recommend them enough up here in Alaska. They're just amazing people.
Set it down.
Let me get up on the roof. Everything we needed to complete this job was packaged up by Magic Metals and delivered to the train yard. There was 3 boxes. One contained all the metal sheet, one contained all the screws and bits and pieces, and another one contained all the trim for the job. I'm lined up. How are you?
I'm lined up.
This section of roof took Sarah and I most of the day to do. I spent most of the day trying to find all my gear for climbing. I usually have an ascender that I can clip onto the rope and then a rope onto my harness so I don't slip and slide, and it's easy to maneuver around on the roof. I was unsuccessful finding it. And I spent a lot of time retying myself as I went along on this roof job. That's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I might have to put a tarp over this section for the winter, just to keep that safe. I'm no professional roofer, but this is going to be nice and watertight. We got 3 more to put on that side. I still don't know what I'm doing with this prow setup here. I'm probably just going to put a tarp around it to keep water out. I've got to put goop around all this stuff here to keep it watertight for the winter, because in the spring this side will get metal as well. Well, as you can see, this section's mostly done. Somebody forgot to hit the record button. Oops. In this section here, what I'm doing is I'm putting down a double-sided sticky foam that goes in between each joint to help keep it watertight. And this is another thing that was supplied by Magic Metals.
Sunshine got me wishing for the moonlight. Got me wishing I was with you. Eyes are powder blue, powder blue. Dreaming.
We're calling this the 20-foot roof job. It looks great from 20 feet away. Because of that prow at the top there, I don't know what I'm going to do. This will work until the springtime. I will cover that with some metal just to give protection so the water doesn't get underneath. And it's going to get a healthy dose of goop. But in the springtime, I will have help here to get this figured out. Anyways, I'm done for now. I've got to get inside. We have a guest coming tomorrow. And I need to get some other stuff done around the house. Talk to you soon. All right, if you've seen some of our past videos, you recognize this room. This is Sarah's art studio that's still in works. Now, in the main house, things were done a little bit different because I did them. When we got here, this building was nothing but a shell. No wiring, very little plumbing, no walls put up, meaning the studs, things like that. So when I started insulating this building, the layers I did were roofing material, and then I put in Duravent in between each joist. What the Duravent does is it's going to run from the peak all the way down to the soffit area down here on the other side of this shoulder wall, and that allows cooler air to come in and then rise up or sink down, depending on what time of year it is, to keep the roof a little cooler than normal to help battle ice damming. Now, I still have a little bit of work I've got to do. I've got to add a little bit more vents for the air circulation in there. But once that's done, this roof should stay pretty much ice-free. Well, I know some people are going to say I did stuff wrong on the roof, and I know I did. I am not a roofer. I never portrayed to be one, at least a metal roofer. I have done a lot of asphalt roofing as well as rubber roofing in Boston. Whenever a project like this starts, you have to research a little bit to figure out how to do things. I did that. However, the roof on that cabin has some really strange issues. That prow is one of them. That prow is going to be my nemesis with this roof. However, to nip that one in the tail, I'm just going to cut it off in the springtime and make it a lot easier. The rest of the roof will be finished this coming spring. We will be putting metal on all of it as well as all the trim pieces. This house doesn't have the trim pieces on it, and I intend to put them on sooner or later. It makes it look nicer. It helps keep the critters out of in between the metal and the roof deck. Every now and then we get bats that crawl in there, and somehow they find their way into the house. So we're going to address that. You stop them guys from doing that. They don't bother anything. They just come around and flit around, but I'd rather keep them out of the house. You don't know if they're vampires. That's it for this week, guys. If you don't mind, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, make sure you're subscribed if you're not already subscribed, and share it out if you can. It helps a lot. Y'all have a great day, and Sarah and I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.